Well, it was widely predicted to happen, and it did. The ticket to Liverpool has gone to none other than Queen Loreen. She's now a two-time Melodifestivalen winner, and she will be representing Sweden at this year's Eurovision Song Contest with a powerful and anthemic cry for love called Tattoo. Ever since we heard this song for the first time, it's felt like a storm has swept through the Eurovision bubble, and there are many reasons for that. Earlier this week, I did a review of the Melodifestivalen final, and I spent more time talking about Loreen and Tattoo than any other song this season, because this is a significant entry, and if you want to check that out, you can click the iCard in the corner. For now, here's a brief summary of most of the points that were in that video. Firstly, Loreen's legacy is unmatched. Euphoria remains a widely loved entry, and it's considered to be the start of modern Eurovision. As a result, anytime that she returns to Melfest, it's expected that her song is going to be at least as good, if not better. The overall sentiment is that it is that good, or at least good enough. And it's created a lot of excitement to the point where this song debuted at the #1 spot on the official Swedish charts. Now, as you would expect with anything that's this big and has such high expectations behind it, not everyone agrees. Some people have complained about the song structure, cliche lyrics, and that the song doesn't seem to be quite as good as Loreen's non-Melfest music. All of those points are addressed in the previous video. What I will say for now is that I do agree that some criticism is warranted, but the overall impact I think is incredible, and this is an excellent choice for Sweden. I don't think there would have been another song that could get as far as this one can. So what more can we say about this entry now that we know it's going to Eurovision? There's a few things that I want to cover, but firstly, let's just cut to the chase and talk about winning potential. If you were to look at the betting odds as they stand at this moment, the bookmakers have a lot of confidence that this will be Sweden's 7th victory. If you were to ask the fans, it seems like the majority of them would agree. But this is of course considering that Loreen's legacy is playing a role here, and that can cause people to either be in blind support of the song, or it could cause the opposite, where they're focusing on the flaws or its failure to meet their idea of what the song is supposed to be. Chances are we're going to hear a lot of confidence from the professional press, from fan outlets, and from the larger community, the people who are going to be following the developments of Eurovision in the lead up to the grand final. And then there's me, who wants this to win and strongly believes that it will, but there's a little bit more. Back in 2012, Euphoria had to win because it put Eurovision on track towards being relevant. If the event had continued the way that it was without Loreen, then we wouldn't be where we are today, especially if, let's say, that the runners-up from that year would be the benchmark for what a Eurovision song should be. Nowadays, however, we have so much variety, and the majority of it also feels more or less on trend. And then you also have some others that are coming from alternative circles and also being appreciated. And so, while Tattoo is the winner that I want to see happen, it doesn't feel quite as much like the winner that we need, like Euphoria did. I mean, for Swedish fans, it's certainly the victory that they would need because it would mean that Loreen would be the second two-time winner as a performer. It would also mean that it would be their 7th victory so that they tie with Ireland. And they also put on such a great show back in 2016, the last time they hosted, that people still talk about to this day. And I'm sure that a lot of people would want to see that happen again. But if the winds were to turn for some reason in the lead up to the show and victory were to go to someone like Finland or Spain or whoever, fill in the blank for who you would want that to be, we would still be left in good hands going into the future. There is, however, one last thing that I think is worth mentioning about what makes this entry special. I think back to 2021 when our winners were Måneskin from Italy. One of the reasons why people speculate that their performance was so effective is because it was responding to a collective feeling that was shared by much of Europe and the rest of the world. We were still pretty deep into the pandemic. Lockdowns were still happening, a lot of people were waiting on vaccines, and we were craving a glimpse of our old life where we could do things like go to concerts and experience live music. Italy responded to that collective feeling with an incredible show. They had the right song at the right time with the right group backing it. Now, coming back to today, if you could describe what you believe to be the collective feeling right now in Europe and much of the rest of the world, what words would you use? The first word that comes to mind for me is heavy. And that's considering the war in Ukraine, the effects of inflation on society, and the rising tensions between global superpowers. I just feel like we could really use something that takes us out of that feeling and offers a bit of relief. And when I think about the moment that gives me that feeling the most, it's in the second chorus of Tattoo, where the beat kicks in and you see that image of Loreen literally lifting the sky and crying out, "All I care about is love." There's not a lot of poetry to that phrase, I admit that. But sometimes you just need to say things directly rather than dressing it up in fancy words in order to be original or artsy. But the difference is still Loreen's conviction to those words, because that's what I see, hear, and feel. And it makes me hopeful. That, my friends, is where the magic lies, and that's why I think this would be a fantastic winner of Eurovision 2023. I'd love to know if you agree. Again, I'm open to a plot twist because it would be even more exciting, but let me know in the comments whether or not you have the confidence that this will be the winner, or if you think that it could be another song. And if you haven't done so already, I would love if you subscribe to the channel so that we can keep talking about Eurovision as it comes. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for getting me to 1,000 subscribers. That just happened today. I'm very grateful for all of you who give me your time, and I hope to see you on the next video. Take care.